Now I would like to invite the fourth paper in this segment titled Breaking Barriers and Shaping Icons, Redefining Pop Stardom for the LGBTQIA+ community and Creating Truly Inclusive Pop Stars.
Oh my God, Gitika, look at him. Isn't he exactly what we had recommended and suggested?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, look at his face, his hairstyle, everything.
Yeah, and even the fashion sense. This is literally like our research coming to life.
Absolutely. In fact, remember how it all began?
I absolutely do, Gitika. But what about the audience that is present here today? They don't know about the exciting journey we had.
So why not show them a glimpse?
Yeah?
Few months ago, amidst our routine emails, one from Saregama India stood out. It was a brief unlike any other. We jumped in, kicked off the project, and wrapped up phase 1. But then we uncovered something unexpected, an insight that changed everything, pushing us into a second phase we hadn't seen coming. And today, we are taking you on this thrilling journey with us. So get ready to dive deeper with us into one of the most exciting research projects we have ever worked on.
All right, friends, a very good afternoon to you. So I'm sure you are keen to know what happened next. But before that, a quick intro. She's Manaswini.
And she's Gitika. And we are from Ipsos, India.
I'm sure you want to know what happened next, right, Manaswini?
Yeah.
So let's take them through what happened.
Absolutely. So what you just saw, it was just a glimpse. Puri picture to abhi baki hai. And we did this study with our client the Saregama India. And very recently they have launched a young male pop star. And he's already gaining a lot of traction among the Indian youth. And the boy that we showed right at the beginning, that is him, Mahi, the pop star. And this boy is the outcome of our research. But I'm sure you all must be thinking that why are we telling you the absolute end right at the beginning itself? But that's because, like we mentioned in the video, today we are here to share the entire journey a lot more with you rather than the end. So for a while, I just want you all to just imagine Saregama India coming to us with this brief. It was a challenge for sure. And they wanted to uncover this key, that what exactly makes a really relatable, unique, young male pop star. They wanted to really crack that code. And they wanted us to come up with a whole package. He should be a heartthrob, the girls should like him. And one thing we would like to highlight is that at this point, we had no idea who our client really has on their mind. But then as true researchers, we still just rolled up our sleeves and said, okay, game on. And we designed the research and we thought, why not try to understand the pulse of music among the young girls of metro cities first. But then as we progressed with stage 1 of our study, we came across a really big plot twist, and that took our research onto a whole new trajectory. And before we move ahead, we would just like to give you a glimpse of what really happened during stage 1. So I am just playing the role of the respondent, and Gitika here will be the moderator.
So ma'am, would you like to let us know what are the qualities in an ideal male youth pop star?
Yeah, I mean, he should be a good singer for sure. He should also be well groomed, fashionable, yet simple and approachable, and clean shaven, and definitely a pet lover.
Interesting. Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, he should definitely be an ally. I mean, a supporter of the LGBTQIA+ community.
Interesting. And why is that so important?
Well, because me and my generation, we truly want to create a society which is really inclusive, where everybody just has the freedom to speak their mind, where everyone respects everyone, and where we simply just live and let live.
That's deep, isn't it? And in fact, we realized we knew so little about the youth. There's so much more to be learned, isn't it? And that began the phase 2 of research. And we actually expanded the scope. We expanded the TG. We started looking out for what else we could do. We expanded the TG to LGBTQIA+, and we also went to the men, and we, of course, expanded the scope to the beyond metro cities. It was typically done so that we could widen the appeal. You know, we could draw inspirations. So the idea was that we wanted to come up with a final output for the client so that he could come up with a pop star who appeals to wider segment, who doesn't antagonize any section of society. In fact, who's only loved by more and more people. But remember, Manaswini, we faced so many challenges in the process. Yeah. Right from recruiting the LGBTQIA+ to engaging with them. Even in data analysis, we had to be very sure that we are not skewing our findings to only one section of society. We wanted to widen appeal, so we had to keep in mind everybody's choices, yet not upset anyone.
And recruiting the heterosexuals wasn't really that tough. But while recruiting the community members, we had to ensure that we get a little bit more innovative and creative. And hence we approached and tried to take the snowballing method. But to our mighty surprise, the LGBTQIA+ members were so well networked and connected within themselves that they ended up acting as recruiters for us beyond a point. And while we were also interacting with them, we ensured that we just keep the conversation absolutely casual and don't really approach it like it's some big deal or something really special. And what that did was it just created a very calm environment, and they felt at ease with us, and that allowed us to gain genuine insights. And through our research then, we also came to know that the current Indian youth, which is the heterosexuals as well as the community members, both, they are definitely different in their own ways, but they are also quite similar to each other in several ways.
In fact, that was an important point for data analysis, where we actually resorted to using the fringe framework. What we did was, it was important to be inclusive, yet at the same time, like I mentioned, we didn't want to upset any section of society. So we analyzed the data in a manner, we kind of filtered out all the opposing views which came up from different TGs, and we looked at the commonalities. And with that, we created a list of all the aspects that had to be fed in for an ideal male pop star. And we put all of that into our internal AI platform. And then what happened, Manaswini, is important for the audience to know. Would you like to show some of the pictures?
Yeah.
And look at that. He looks so similar to the artist, doesn't he?
He absolutely does.
Do you want to share the artist actually who is?
Yeah. So as a result of all of this, finally Mahi Mukherjee was born. I mean, he was launched by our client Saregama. And he's already gaining a lot of traction among the Indian audience. He's already come up with 3 tracks of his own, and they have garnered over 3 million plus views. And if you see the comments and the responses that people have given him, you will notice that all the parameters we gained from our research, people are actually noticing it and appreciating that.
Lage lage main choo kar aaya taron that pet lover.
Yeah.
Dekho dekho main jab bhi extremely vulnerable and approachable too. Lage lage main.
Well, so in the interest of time, you can definitely check out his profile on YouTube later.
All right. So our research was surely a success, not just internally, but also with the client. They appreciated it a lot. Now here comes our fringe framework, which we would like the larger audience to know, which was surely depended on for this research. In fact, for anyone, any marketers here who would like to make their brand more inclusive, it will come to rescue. The starting point is the entire idea of inclusivity, you know. I think we often tend to forget what we want to do at the beginning, and it's almost sometimes at the later step that we realize, okay, let's make our brand inclusive. But the entire fringe framework network gives us a starting point to think. So the key question here is defining your goal. What do you actually want to engage fringes for? And fringes here are, mind you, they could be senior citizens, there could be kids, there could be women, depending on the category. For us, it was LGBTQIA+. So in our case, the brand wanted to expand its appeal, right? They wanted to ensure they are taking inputs from everywhere. So it was philanthropic posturing for the sorts. In many cases, for example, automotive manufacturers today, they are planning to come up with inclusive vehicles wherein they want to expand their market, they want to expand their TG. In that case, it is purposeful partnering. The idea we are trying to put forth is the entire idea of inclusivity. Today, it will be too myopic if we do not include the fringes in our thinking, in our marketing plan. And that's the point we are trying to make. In changing times, it's extremely important to include fringes because they are a significant section of society today.
And with that, as we almost near the end of our presentation, we would like all of you to just take a tad bit of a pause and think that even in today's society, we as marketers, both the brands as well as researchers, aren't we still only really reaching out to the selected category or sections of the society? And we aren't really doing it on purpose, but it's happening still. And I feel that's a tad bit of a hard pill to swallow, isn't it, Gitika?
That's right. In fact, the idea to go inclusive is extremely important. For us as marketers, we need to ensure that it's not just the people who are included, but it's the brands who have to step up and ensure that you are embracing the world of fringes or not. As marketers, are we doing really enough to embrace all the variety of the spectrum of society? Are we ensuring that we are representing the vibrant tapestry, the faces, the sounds, the stories around us? We would like to leave the audience with that food of thought as we sign off. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What challenges did Saregama India face when redefining their brand image to incorporate diversity and inclusion? And how were these challenges addressed to ensure authentic representation of the community?
So the challenge was essentially, like we mentioned, it occurred to all of us in stage 1 of the research, that it's very important to have a wider spectrum of the society included while considering and while designing pre-launch of the artist. And that was something which they kept in mind. They didn't want to, like we mentioned, as we are going ahead, we need to ensure that more and more people have a variety which is included while you are looking at brand. For them, artist was the brand, and that's what the challenge was. They wanted to ensure that they appeal the wider section of society.
And also adding to what Gitika said, more than a challenge, it came to us as pretty much a revelation, like an eye-opening,
right,
to just know and realize that how much we still are, like, our unconscious minds don't really end up considering the TG. So getting them on board was actually not a challenge,
correct,
as we have already rightly mentioned, but it was more the whole study and the phases that followed ahead. They ended up becoming like a learning course for the client as well in many different ways.
If all brands were to be all inclusive, should we throw out targeting and segmentation out of the window?
Not really. In fact, that's the reason we showed the fringe framework. The idea is whether you want to draw inspiration and then target the audience, whichever your audience is, or you want to include them as a part of your TG. For example, for our client, the TG was not LGBTQIA+. The TG was the core women, but they wanted to ensure they are able to draw inspiration. For example, an iPhone is not directed at the physically challenged people, but what it does is it also incorporates certain features which help everyone to use. So somewhere from that perspective, it's drawing inspiration, ensuring you enable a little bit of features, a little bit of aspects, a few elements which appeal to everyone. Your core TG might as well remain the way you want to target.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any more questions? And as we take our leave, we would just also like to rightly mention our team member Mukta Matta, who passed away last year, but she was also a very integral part of a series of these projects that we did. So this is for Mukta Matta as well. Thank you.